Hi, good evening, everyone. It's me again, Chetwayo La Borde of Chetwayo's Fitness Enterprise, and you all will be joining me for the first episode of Chetwayo's Health Talk, right? The first episode of Chetwayo's Health Talks. Now, might be wondering, what is this all going to be about? Yes, we know it's going to be about health, but it has so many different health programs out and about. Um, but this one is going to be different. Why is it going to be different? Because I have a different approach with regards to health. So, what I'm going to explain and show you all is my approach to health and the angle in which I take with regards to it. And you all would see that being healthy is simpler than you think, right? And that approach must be one that comes from a holistic perspective, right? So I will start off by saying I am a holistic health and fitness expert. That's what I do. I deal with people health without the use of drugs or supplementation. With regards to exercise, many people would know me, specialize in aquatic exercise, where I train people in the aquatic environment. And also, those would know me from the personal training aspect. Now, those that are more familiar with me would know that I train without the use of weights. I just use my body weight as resistance. All right. So, my whole approach to health is more natural than natural. No, no, that would sound funny. And the reason why I say more natural than natural is that today we associate natural with the use of natural extracts, where we think that you may need to use, herbal extract, right? When we look at things in the form of natural, but it's more natural than that. To me, a herbal extract is not natural, right? Natural is simply I treat the body through your diet, dietary changes. So what I like to see, I like to encourage people and let people know is that your medicine should be what you eat. Your food is your medicine, all right? Because we have associated medicine with just drugs and supplements, when in reality, what you put into your body, right, through the form of food, what you eat, and what you drink, that is your medicine. And that's how we want to look at things. That's the angle in which we want to deal with health. The other things we would be looking at and focusing on has a lot to do with dealing with the body when it comes to health from a holistic perspective, a holistic point of view. One of the issues I have with the mainstream approach to health is that we compartmentalize, and that is where the problem lies in most of the cases. When you compartmentalize the body, that is where you run into trouble because you have forgotten or you ignore or neglect the fact that everything in the body is connected because you only have one body. All right. So if you have an issue with your big toe, it's not just your big toe that is affected. It could just be that the entire body has issues and the problem is just manifesting in the area that is weakest. And therefore, you would be seeing that problem manifesting in the big toe. So if you are trying to heal the big toe, you don't just want to focus on the big toe only. You want to focus on getting the entire body right. All right. Good night. So I'm seeing some people tuning in. Also, what I want to mention, this health talk program, like I said, it's health talk, which means I don't want it to just be me alone talking, but you, the viewers, can ask questions in the comment section from where you're viewing. I am also looking at comments from Facebook. So I would see comments there, and I would look at things, look at the comments and stuff from there, and address certain points that might be raised up from the comments. All right. So I saw somebody mention Curtis Abraham, homeopathy. So we would not be looking at or dealing with health from homeopathy aspect, because people look at that and say that is a natural way as well. Health is even simpler than that. It is simpler than that. All right. So we would be looking at things from more of a nutritional aspect, nutritional perspective, understand how we are supposed to eat as human beings. And this is where the biggest issue stems. We do not eat according to what our species is designed to eat. And why I say that is because if I ask you all, out of the three categories, herbivore, omnivore, and carnivore, which category the human being fits into, the response that everyone would say unanimously is omnivore, and they would say omnivore leaning more to herbivore. And I am sure that you all would agree with that, but I totally disagree with it. All right. Anybody that know me would know that I am an advocate for the carnivore diet. Right? I am an advocate for the carnivore diet. And this is not based on speculation. This is not based on just my personal opinion. This is based on my understanding of the human digestive system, of the anatomy of the human body, and how our body is designed to metabolize what we consume. All right. And of course, as we go further into the discussion, we would be looking more at those things over a period of time. Everything would not be done in one session. All right. But we are just lightly touching on what we would actually touch on in this segment. So we want to understand how we are supposed to eat, what we are supposed to eat, why we are supposed to eat what we are supposed to eat. All right. And there's so much things that we don't look at because of the fact that we have just been bombarded with so much of misinformation that certain things we don't even consider. We mostly eat for pleasure, which is an incorrect means in which we eat. Eating shouldn't be for pleasure. We should be eating for survival. We should be eating to live, to sustain our bodies. Every other living creature in nature eats in that manner. All right. And because they eat in that manner, they are healthy, right? In nature, animals are healthy. We look at humans today, and out of all the living creatures on earth, human beings are the most diseased and the sickest creatures in existence. Now, taking that into consideration, it means we are doing something terribly wrong. Terribly, terribly wrong. If we were doing something correct, we would not fall within that category. We would not be the sickest living creatures on earth. All right. I mentioned in the past on my page and so forth with Alzheimer's, dementia, and whatnot. And things like Alzheimer's have increased over the past couple of years, or the past 20 years. Alzheimer's or dementia deaths has increased by 145% in a 20-year period. Right? If we were doing what we are supposed to be doing correctly, if we were eating correctly, that would not happen. Childhood obesity in Trinidad over the past 20 years has increased by over 44%. If we were eating right and eating healthy, that would not be the case, right? Ischemic heart diseases, all those conditions diabetes, all these things have been on the rise as if nothing is even trying to slow it down. In fact, when you look at how fast these health issues have been arising, the only conclusion that you could come to is that how we are living is aiding the sickness, it's aiding the illness, right? And I can say that because the figures are rising unrestricted. There is nothing slowing them down. So we now have to reinterpret the information that we have been getting. We have to adjust and we have to make changes because what we are doing, we need to get it in our minds, in our head, in our subconscious that we are doing it wrong and very much wrong. We are way off track with regards to health. So having said that, let's start with just simply the definition of health. What does it mean to be healthy? Because a lot of people would say that if I ask somebody if they're healthy, they would say yes. But the definition of healthy is it means to be free from illness or injury, right? So to be healthy, it means that you are free from illness or injury. Now, let's say you had a fall and you bounced your knee, so you have an injury. So let's exclude the injury part. Let's say you are to be free from illness and just look at that aspect alone. Free from illness. How many people at present is free from illness? Now, we have to understand what is illness, right? Illness is that state of not being well. And this is where people get confused. So somebody, if you ask the average person, are you healthy? They would say yes. But if you go into specifics and ask them certain questions with regards to their health, then they would realize that they aren't healthy. So someone would say they are healthy, but then you say, do you suffer from migraines? Yeah, I just get migraines now and again. Then you are not healthy, right? Are you healthy? But they'll say yes. Do you suffer from irregular periods? They would say, yeah, but that's just, come on, everybody else. Then you are not healthy, right? Are you healthy? Yes. Do you suffer from constipation? Yeah, but it's a small thing, everybody else get that sometimes or whatever. Then you're healthy. So if you get what I'm saying or understand what I'm getting at, there aren't much healthy people out here, right? Health is not convenient. Many people are conveniently healthy because they downplay the actual sickness. I could give an example of someone. I was doing a consultation with someone, and the person said they were suffering from some illness, and I said that's because your whole family learned to cook the same way. So you are not healthy, and by extension, your family would also not be healthy. So it's like, no, my mom is very healthy. My mom very well healthy. She just had to take certain medication for high blood pressure and call out a couple different illnesses that the mom is taking medication for. And that's the problem. The healthy butt. She just taking this for hyperthyroidism, right? And then I'm taking this for she suffered from some other issue, some other illness. And that there is very interesting. It's very interesting how people see and view health, right? Because here it is in one breath, the person is saying they're healthy, but in the next breath, they're listing a bunch of medication that individual is taking That is not healthy. That is not health. And we need to understand, to be healthy is to be free from illness. You don't suffer with migraines. You don't suffer with irregular periods or heavy menstrual cycles. You're not suffering from mental health issues, depression, anxiety, and all those things, because that's another aspect. Mental health issues, people don't class those things as associated as being unhealthy. We just think, oh, it's psychological, right? But psychological issues have a lot to do with your nutrition. In fact, I would say if somebody nutrition is on point, the possibility of suffering from a mental health illness is very, very slim. It's very difficult to suffer from a mental health issue if your nutrition is on point, right? If your nutrition is on point, it is very difficult to suffer from a mental health issue, all right? So your stomach and your mind is closely linked, right? Your stomach and your mind is closely linked. Your physical health and your stomach is also closely linked, right? You can't be healthy when you are eating badly, all right? So there are two things that I class as the two most dangerous things anybody could consume. Many of you all would know sugar, right? Because that's what's popular now. Everybody knows sugar not good and sugar is bad and whatever and whatever. Everybody know about sugar. Sugar not good to consume. Sugar is bad and sugar is terrible. But sugar I class as the number two deadliest thing to consume. The most dangerous substance to consume is seed oils. Seed oils or vegetable oils, all those plant-based oils. Those are the deadliest things to consume. So what I would do, I would open a link and share my screen with you all to a website. All right. So I'll share my screen to a website. And when I do so, you all are going to be amazed at this article that I'm going to share with you all. All right. So, but I would wait for around probably 9 o'clock, and then I would share that information with you all so that you all could see how dangerous and how damaging seed oils are. And when you look at how much seed oil is used today, you would see that it is extremely common to use, all right? But to understand the process on how seed oils come about, it's a very interesting process. It's a major chemical process. And when you think about it, if you have to go through so much trouble to extract the oil from these seeds, you know that you could not have naturally consumed such things, right? You would not be able to naturally consume such things. If you see a factory that produces seed oils, those factories are massive, all right? So in the comments, somebody asks about flaxseed oil. Toxic. Flaxseed oil is very toxic, right? Flaxseed oil is very, very toxic. Did you know that long time fast food places used to cook with ghee? They used to do all the frying and stuff with ghee. That was healthy. That was fine, right? But we have moved to just using the seed oils. We have moved away from using the healthy stuff, the stuff that's safe, because ghee also has a high a smoke point of 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And we have moved to seed oils. Flaxseed oil. Flaxseed oil has a smoke point of 107 degrees, which means out of all the oils, all the toxic oils, it is the one that cannot take any heat at all. 107 degrees Fahrenheit, right? So just a little bit of heat and it is toxic. It turns toxic. And that is just looking at the smoke point only, right? I'm not even going into the chemicals used to extract the oil from the seeds, right? When you go into that and you go into still chemicals like hexane, right, which is a petrochemical that is used to extract the oil from these seeds, that is extremely toxic, extremely toxic. That is basically like kerosene. In fact, you could light the liquid hexane just from the fumes alone. And that is what is used to extract the oils from seeds. And of course, they cannot, when they take that out, they cannot take out all the hexane from the oil afterwards. So you're consuming hexane along with these seed oils, right? So vegetable oil is one of the worst things in my list of toxic foods. Vegetable oils, seed oils are the worst thing that you could possibly put into your body, right? Followed by sugar, but most people don't understand what sugar actually is, right? So sugar would come in the form of saccharides. And when we understand what saccharides are, you will see that it's all starches. And so that would include your potatoes and your ground provision and stuff like that. It would also include fruits, right? So most people, a lot of people think fruits are healthy. A lot of people think so. But are they? Are they truly healthy? When you think about the sugars that are found in fruits, you would see that it's, interestingly enough, it's problematic. It's sucrose. Sucrose is 50% glucose and 50% from fructose. 20% of glucose has to be metabolized by the liver. The other 80%, your cells can utilize it for energy, right? But 20% would be metabolized by the liver. But fructose, 100% of it has to be metabolized by the liver because your liver interprets it as a toxin, right? Your liver interprets it as a toxin. So I'm seeing Crystal asking about olive oil. Same thing with olive oil. Same thing with olive oil. All right. If somebody has to use an oil that is from a plant based source, right? The only one that is the safest out of all the toxic vegetable oils, the one that is not as toxic as the rest, but still is toxic, is coconut oil. Right? Still toxic, but not as toxic. But later on, as we go along and we start going more into the program, I would go into more details and show us the why, right? And yes, Adrian is correct there, as he said, that animal fats make food taste way better, right? And I could attest to that. It does, right? As you mentioned that, it reminded me of when fats was based on a study done by Harvard University. Now, the information of what I'm saying here, right, which is later on I would share, because this is just an introductory to what it is out to what this whole health talk is about, right? But later on, as we go more into stuff, I would pull up little articles and share those stuff with you and show you, research and latest studies and so forth, so that you already realize what I'm saying is not just my opinion, but there's actually documented peer-reviewed stuff on these things as well. But, there's plenty information out there, but people don't really like to go out and search for information. We just rather somebody tell us. And because we rather somebody tell us, they can tell us all sorts of misinformation and we accept it as truth, till even if somebody show the truth, that the truth appears as a lie because the vast majority already believe the lie, right? So I could come now and show peer-reviewed studies proving all that I am saying, and people would still hold on to the lie. There was a time I was watching a program where the guy put out an article, deliberately put out an article in the paper saying that chocolate, the consumption of chocolate would help you lose weight, right? He did that on purpose, right? And he came the next day and put out another article saying that his previous article was false information and he was just doing a social experiment. Nobody believed that because chocolate being something to cause weight loss is what people want to believe. So the truth that he brought after now, nobody wanted to accept the truth, and the truth wasn't accepted till today. Everybody still believes chocolate is good and healthy for the human body, right? Even though the guy came forward, even went on a talk show and said that, right? And still, people want to hold on to the chocolate, all right? But that's what we would be looking at. So what we're going to do, we're going to just run quickly to a short break, and then we will be back with some more stuff. You all could ask your questions in the comment section in the meanwhile. Lillian, unmuted. All right. So we are back again. All right. So continuing from where I left off there, I was speaking on chocolate and how we hold on to the truths that we believe benefit us, even if it's not true, but because it fits within what we want to believe. Because sometimes truth is a bit hard to accept, right? So truth is sometimes be a bit hard to accept. So when I mentioned there with chocolate, and you all can look up oxalates, right? You can look up oxalates, and you would see when you look up oxalates that chocolate has oxalates in it, all right? Oxalate is not indigenous to the human body. You're only getting oxalates from plant-based material, and it causes problems with the human body, right? Chocolate is full of it. In fact, a lot of plant-based foods are full of these toxins, all right? Hopefully, I'm trying to share my screen with you all, but it's not being able to share, all right? But I want to really share the screen so that I could show you all some stuff here, and that would be of big interest to you all. All right, so let me share the screen here. All right. So what I'm going to share with you all here is going to be on seed oils. So this is an article on that was written. What you would notice to a lot of the stuff that I'm sharing, you would see some of them are recent stuff. So it's not just old information. There would be some stuff that might be older information, but it is still current and it's not outdated. It is still accepted information today. But all the stuff I would be sharing would be sound stuff, right? Now, this you all could probably take note of the website, Zero Acre, right? Jeff Nods or Nodes. And I wouldn't read out the whole thing. I would just go to some points on it. because I want to just go quickly to the charts. And when you all get time, you all could check it out and see. So look at vegetable oil consumption. Vegetable oil, global consumption of vegetable oil from 1909 to 2019. From 1909 to 2019. 1909, very little. You could say probably non-existent. In fact, before that, we used to just use animal-based stuff, right? But from 1909, we started using vegetable oil. But within 100 years, our consumption of vegetable oil has increased by 150 times. 150 times. That is not a small increase. That is a massive, massive increase. Guess what also have increased during that time period? Ischemic heart diseases, diabetes, right? Cancers, all those things have increased dramatically. And to me, that is not coincidental. Is it coincidental that with the increase of seed oil consumption, all these health issues just managed to skyrocket? Before the year 1812, ischemic heart diseases were non-existent. 100 years ago, back in this time here, this time period, the early 1900s, right? Dementia was non-existent. Dementia came out in 1909. Same time as I just find it interesting, right? But look how drastic the increase is. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit more again and look at how much land is dedicated to oil crops. Almost 500 million acres. But yet we love to blame animals, right? Later on, I would show, probably not in this segment, but I would show stuff with animal consumption and red meat consumption and how drastic the drop in consumption of red meat is today. Yes, less people are consuming red meat today, right, than in the past, but yet we are more unhealthy, right? But there's a lot of stuff I am going to be sharing with you all on this program that might rock you all to the core, all right? But still have to share it because, as the saying goes, truth is absolute. So look at this. Look at this. Of course, these figures, because this stuff at 2050, we know that 2022, it's even higher. Let's scroll down some more. I hope you all take note of the website so that you all could check it out yourself. Let's look at the increase of death by diet and lifestyle factors. Severe obesity, right? So now they're just looking at severe obesity. To get to be in a state of severe obesity, you know you're going to have to include sugars and vegetable oil. But they're just looking at severe obesity. Severe obesity, 93%. Heavy smoking, 88%. And look what comes right after and running at in third place. Vegetable oils, vegetable oil, right? At 62%. Imagine vegetable oil is more dangerous than being physically inactive. Imagine vegetable oil is more dangerous than being a heavy drinker. Imagine vegetable oil is more dangerous than being a moderate smoker. In fact, I'll show you now this information. Did you all know? Let me stop sharing my screen for a little bit so you all could see me. Did you all know that when it comes to lung cancer, right? When it comes to lung cancer victims, that only 10% of lung cancer victims are smokers? I am sure a lot of you did not know that. Only 10% of lung cancer victims are smokers. The other 90% are not smokers. Now, some might say, oh, maybe they're secondhand smokers. Not even. Not even. The biggest contributor to lung cancer, and I'm going back, I'm pulling back up the image, is people that spend a lot of time in their kitchen with vegetable oils. They are inhaling the fumes of those seed oils, and that is destroying their lungs. They are inhaling the fumes of the seed oils, and that is contributing to them suffering from lung cancer. That is a tough one to swallow. And I know that one is a tough one to swallow, right? But vegetable oils is a big contributor to lung cancer. In the past, 100 years ago, lung cancer and stuff was so rare that if somebody came into the hospital suffering from lung cancer, they used to bring all the medical students to observe that person because it was so rare to find somebody with lung cancer. Now today, it's so common. It is so common. Anyway, let's continue. Let's continue with seed oils. This year, the average American consumes 5 to 10 tablespoons of vegetable oil per day. Now, we would usually America and Trinidad statistics with regards to health stuff runs the same. Trinidad usually is a little bit worse, sad to say. All right, but I kind of like to use the comparison because one, we don't do a lot of research here. We don't do a lot of statistics and compilation of data in Trinidad. Yes, I do check, and it's very difficult to get proper stuff done. So I just use a comparison with American data because they are better at collecting and storing data and information. All right, so the average American consumes 5 to 10 tablespoons of vegetable oil per day. Now, if you were to get, because vegetable oil is a polyunsaturated fat, all right, coconut oil is more saturated. This is why I say it's the better out of all of them, all right, but usually vegetable oil is more polyunsaturated, all right, and I will explain that shortly. So if you were to get in the same amount of polyunsaturated fats from plants, from nature, just to get in 5 tablespoons, now the average person getting in 5 to 10, Trinis are not getting in more because we like with doubles and those kind of stuff. You would have to eat 98 ears of corn in one day to get an equivalent to 5 tablespoons of corn oil. You would need to consume 2,800 sunflower seeds in one day to get an equivalent to 5 tablespoons of the sunflower oil. You would need to consume 625 grapes in a day to get an equivalent to 5 tablespoons of grapeseed oil. You would need to consume 40 cups of brown rice in one day. And anybody that could do that, you need to get the highest award that could be offered by the land. 40 cups of brown rice to get in 5 tablespoons of rice bran oil. So in other words, the amount of vegetable oil, polyunsaturated fats that we are consuming today is way beyond what we could ever consume if we were getting it in from natural sources. It's way beyond, all right? Way beyond. So we are basically poisoning ourselves on a daily basis, and we do not have the slightest clue. And then we wonder why it is we are sick. And you know what we say? Oh, sickness is random. There is no random sickness. That is not possible, right? You don't randomly get sick, right? You don't randomly get sick. That is something that just does not happen. right? Now, let me explain something with the oils, with the vegetable oils there and the polyunsaturated fat. It has to do with omega-3 and omega-6. Omega-9 your body produces, so you don't have to worry about that. Omega-3 is anti-inflammatory, meaning it reduces inflammation, right? Omega-6 is pro-inflammatory. Now, these oils, which are also fats, polyunsaturated fats, they are not designed to be used as energy or as fuel. Saturated fats are designed by nature to be used as fuel, which means they're designed to take heat and through the process of heating would provide energy in the form of ATP and it would fuel your cells, So that's what that's for. The polyunsaturated fats, they're not designed to work in that manner. They're designed to provide you with the omega-3 and the omega-6. Now, in nature, the ratio of omega-3 to omega-6 goes from 1 omega-3 and could go anywhere from 1 to 4 omega-6, right? So it's either 1 to 1, 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 4, right? Omega-3 to omega-6. Now, one might say, oh, well, then omega-6, we usually get in more pro-inflammatory omega-6 than anti-inflammatory. Yes, you need that. You need to have a higher inflammatory response because if you get pricked with a splinter, your body needs to take action in order to help prevent you from being infected and whatnot. So it could send, cytokine cells of the immune system to go and attack and whatnot. That's why you'll get the red blood cells going to the area and you'll get swelling and all of that. That is a pro-inflammatory response in order to protect the body. So you need to have, because if you had more omega-3 in your diet than omega-6, right, it means that response can be suppressed. So yes, in nature, you still need more omega-6 than omega-3 in the ratio. The problem is with the vegetable oils, the ratio comes in at 1 omega-3 to 15 to 17 omega-6. 1 omega-3 to 15 to 17 omega-6. That is far beyond what nature allows. So the pro-inflammatory response of the body or the person that's consuming it would be extreme. And now we're wondering, how come all of a sudden people have so much allergies? How come all of a sudden there's so much autoimmune disorders? And we just think, oh, well, it just happens. No, it didn't just happen. Something caused it. Sickness is not random, right? There's a cause and an effect, right? For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So when you are thinking that, I just allergic to shellfish, right? No, your body is having a severe inflammatory response, which could have well been triggered due to the consumption of seed oils and vegetable oils. Many people never put two and two together, so they never draw the link, right? They never saw the link or saw the connection, right? So you're wondering why you're suffering from lupus. Because your body is having an extreme pro-inflammatory response because of something you are consuming that is pro-inflammatory. Interesting stuff, eh? Interesting stuff. Think of Peanut allergies. I remember I watching a documentary and the farmer said, you know that 20 years ago, peanut allergies never existed. But you're consuming something that is increasing the pro-inflammatory response. Vegetable oil could well be the culprit, right? Vegetable oil could well be the thing that is crippling you and you're unaware. You're suffering from rheumatoid arthritis. Well, vegetable oils would have a part to play in that. And many people haven't seen the connection. All right. And people might even hear this still and still go and buy the vegetable oil because it's cheaper. It's cheaper than buying ghee. It's cheaper than buying your Anchor butter or your Kerrygold butter. Right? It's cheaper than those stuff. But the price that you have to pay comes with your health. And many people have grown up being sick. I can tell you that. I grew up being asthmatic. I grew up, if I try to run, I remember after where was it? Kindergarten, after kindergarten, or first infants, after the infant class, first year, second year, right? If I try to run a race, I remember I went to run a race for sports for my it probably was primary school or kindergarten. I couldn't make even the 40-meter line. I always had to stop because my lungs could not, it just couldn't. I never used to finish a race, right? By 20 meters, that's it. That's it. And the thing is, when you grow up that way, you grow up sickly, so you don't know what it is to be healthy. And because you don't know what it is to be healthy, right, you can't miss what you never experienced. So many of us are saying, no, but I feeling okay. You can't miss what you never experienced. I did not know, even when I got into fitness, that I could have still get could have still gotten even healthier. It's only when I did, I was like, wow, this is amazing. It's amazing how healthy one can actually be. It's amazing that I could I remember when I made that full change in my diet, right? This was and it was only I did for about like over a year ago. I cut out a certain thing from my diet, and I never expect that I would have gotten such a boost in health. It was amazing. It was amazing. Because you might say, just a little bit of oil and going and doing much until you cut it out completely, and then you're going to see a big change in your health. Big change. All right. These things are very surprising, very, very surprising. All right. So I know some of you might be watching and questioning, wow, this thing. Don't allow cognitive dissonance to step in. Don't allow it to step in. Take the information and use it. All right. Take the information just from this little episode this evening. Take the information and use it. Apply it. Apply it. Don't study how much money you already spend and you buy that big tub of vegetable oil. You do not need it. Right? You do not need it. Right? It would do you well if you go and you buy a tin of ghee. Right? I am telling you, the difference you would get. All right? The difference you would get. So we're coming close to the end of the segment. So I know some of you all would be curious. So I'll mention some stuff that I offer with my business, because my business is Chetwayo's Fitness Enterprise, where I don't just deal with exercise, but I deal with changing people's lifestyle through changing their diets, teaching them how to eat, right? Teaching them, the saying, I always like to use the saying, if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. But if you teach a man 2 fish, you feed him for a lifetime. So that's what I do, nutritional coaching. So if people are interested, what they can do is contact me, right? The number is up on the screen. You can contact me and I would send you the relevant information with regards to the services that I offer. And of course, you can do your consultation. Some people do the consultation and the information they get from the consultation, they are able to use that and apply it and then formulate their diet on their own. Or they decide that they want to go ahead with the nutritional coaching, where I coach them on how to eat. All right. I coach them on how to eat. And of course, over a period of time, we all would, you would grasp it. And when you grasp it, you would be able to choose your foods wisely, right? You would make better choices with regards to what you put into your body. You want to become more conscious because that is what has happened to mankind over the past decades. We have become unconscious with regards to what we put into the body, right? We believe we can eat everything and we cannot. We cannot, right? Animals in nature don't even eat everything, right? But we believe we can and we cannot. And the sooner we understand that, the sooner we grasp that, is the more control we would have over our lives. And that would improve our health. All right. So I just have like 3 more minutes. So I'll just read some comments here quickly. All right. I grew up on coconut oil. I couldn't run a race or run at all, but I don't pull up with ankle pains. I still can't. Okay, that's good. I have come across women over 70 that look like 40 and swear by raw food diets and veganism. Can you explain? That would be a good topic. What that would be a good topic for the next segment, dealing with the raw food diet and veganism, all right? Because I could tell you, I get calls every day, people who have been vegetarians and vegans and stuff for 30, 40 years plus. And basically all of them either have some serious heart illness or cancer. And some of them don't tell anybody about it. So though you might think they are healthy, they keep a lot of stuff hidden because they don't want to tarnish the reputation of that vegetarianism and veganism. But what I would come with next week, we are going to look at that. And I would bring for you the latest data, latest studies on it and the conclusion of those studies on those things. All right. Look, Mr. Mills is posting a little testimonials from his experience with training with me. All right. So he started on my program as well, and he has been reaping some of the benefits of changing his diet and changing his lifestyle with regards to health. Yes, it's eye-opening. You would be amazed. You would be amazed at how effective it is. All right, you would be amazed. And what people just need to do is just try it. Just try it. All right. So I have less than a minute again. So I want to say thank you all for having me. And this was just an introduction. This was just an introduction. You all have given me a topic for next week, which is the plant-based raw food diet, vegetarianism, veganism, pescatarianism. We will touch on it. We will touch on it next week. So join in next week, all right, for another episode of Chetwayo's Health Talks. It's different, it's new, and it would completely shock you all. So that's the thing. The health talk's going to have a shock factor to it because I am just delivering the truth, and truth is absolute. All right, that rhyme there. All right. So having said that, I'd like to close off and bid you all good night. Have yourself a safe and prosperous week. All right. So until next week, Friday, same time, 8:30 to 9:30. Next week, Wednesday, sorry, 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. All right. Have yourself a good one. Take care.